with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal Night Terrors. Hope you guys are doing great. Thank you so much for joining me here, those of you that are here already and those of you that will be. I see several are coming in, and that's wonderful. It always takes a few minutes or so. I guess I could probably promote ahead a lot more than I do, but, you know, I'm I'm kind of all over the map in a lot of ways. I was working on some music stuff today as well, and it kind of gets me in a different zone. So coming back to the you know, regular show grind is it takes a little bit of adjustments. I don't know. It's using different parts of my brain. Maybe that's what it is. But whatever the case, I hope you guys are doing wonderful. And I know that tomorrow's a holiday, Memorial Day. So I hope you guys, you know, spend it. And I don't know. I don't like to get too sappy on the show too much, but I think that, you know, it's a moment of time to at least reflect on, you know, the people that gave everything and to, you know, during the course of many conflicts and stuff. And I think it's, you know, it's, I don't know, a sacred time in a sense to honor them. So I hope you guys are all doing that in your own ways. And I'm not trying to glorify, you know, wars or anything like that. Of course, they're ugly, horrible things, but, you know, all politics aside, you know, you can't fault the people that are just doing what they're told and facing unbelievable situations and stuff. So, you know, I'm not trying to offend anybody. That's not what this is all about. But I do think this is one that, I don't know, I always feel this real melancholy around Memorial Day because it's, you know, the ramifications of it are just so profound. And it is a chance to just, you know, tip the hat or give them a nod or, you know, whatever you want to do to acknowledge those sacrifices that were made on all of our behalf. So, and again, so I hope you guys, you know, enjoy the day and remember to, you know, just at least acknowledge that. I've lost, you know, I had family members that served and of course, you know, it's, and my son is in the military as well. And so it's, you know, one of those things I guess I always reflect on as much as I can. But anyway, I'm not perfect and I don't expect anyone else to be, but I don't know. I don't know. Welcome to the show. In any rate, this is the Night Terrors. These are shorter format paranormal portals, and they are you know, about an hour long, and we cover many different topics. And although I did say Cryptid Corner on tonight's show, I'm going to cover some other stuff as well. There's some interesting things that I bumped into. I was like, wow, you know, I'm familiar with some of these, but there's some other ones that I was not familiar with. And in seeing them, it really does seem to suggest, and what I'm speaking of is some photographs from Mars that are allegedly from NASA. And we'll review those and look over those, see what you guys think. And then I thought we'd spend some time. I got a lot of feedback on one cryptid show that we did where I just asked you guys in the chat, those of you that are actively in the chat, to give me states, and we'd go through the BFRO and another website to look at reports that have been filed from those states. So I thought we'd spend some time doing that as well. So that's what I wanted to do tonight. And then, of course, we got the Trail Cam Terrors to close out the show tonight. And, you know, God forbid we have any connection issues. The last two Night Terrors, we've been kind of knocked off, I think, by YouTube. I don't know what it is. It's something to do with the bandwidth rate that they're getting. I don't know. They were really finicky, and as far as I can tell, it seems like that's maybe why we got knocked off. But I got a fiber connection here, so I mean, I have just about almost no latency. I mean, there's always latency, but it's a really good connection. So and I do speed tests. It's like, wow, I got better upload than I have download, and that's a huge thing. So I shouldn't be getting any bandwidth issues on my end, but I don't know what's going on YouTube's end either, because I know that they intermittently have troubles and are periodically targeted, I think, by maybe groups or people out there. So that can raise some real hell with connections. But at any rate, that's kind of a laundry list of what we're going to cover tonight. So I hope you guys are ready. The phone lines will be open. 720-923-0500 is the number. For fun on tonight's show, if you've got something paranormal you want to share or something you want to discuss that we are discussing, then by all means call in. I'd love to hear from you. So without further ado, I hope y'all are ready, because it's time for bed. All right, we're back, and now we're back at it. So let's get started. I want to start with an article that I found. Again, I just talked about it a little bit just to set it up a bit, but I think this is pretty exciting stuff. I think it is. You guys can be the judge, but the article comes from howsandwhys.com, and the article in question is 10 shocking alien figures on Mars, which will leave you stunned. Now, I don't know if it'll leave you stunned or not, but I've seen several of these, but not all of them. And some of them I'm like, wow. Now, I'm not, wildly invested in, all of the different topic areas in the paranormal, because it would just be impossible to be that. At least for me, I'm just spread too thin in too many different directions. But I find these incredibly interesting and exciting. And case in point, many people believe that Mars was once a populated planet, and that some kind of catastrophe happened in the distant past that wiped out life as we know it on that planet. And there seem to be potentially artifacts that would suggest there was intelligent life there. There are foundations of what appear to be buildings. And of course, I don't think those are on this article that I'm talking about, but I have seen pictures of what look like absolutely geometrically perfect foundations of what might have been buildings or structures at one point. And for by some measure or method, all of that was wiped out, but there's still the footprints are left behind. So we're going to look at some of these, and you guys can be the judge. Now, the first one on this list, I think, is pretty self-explanatory, but let's first read it. It says, people love mysterious space stories, and on top of a cosmic curiosity, there are shocking alien figures on the red planet. The rock formations on Mars turn into faces, shadows into landing sites of UFOs, and pieces of the rover in the face of the ancient Egyptian king's face. In the face of the ancient Egyptian king's face. Okay, NASA has collected the most famous images from the surface of the red planet, which caused the most heated controversy and got many comments. It will not be the next Martian Chronicles for readings and likes, but we not only explore some of the shocking alien figures on Mars, but also try to give them scientific explanations. So we're going to get the attempts at debunking them, but the classic Martian face is the first one. And I think you'd have to have been living in a cave not to know the Martian face, this image right here. That's been all over the place. Very, very well known and very well discussed for a long time. Now, I'm kind of the feeling, too, that this just might be, with the lighting and everything else, this could very well just be a geographical formation that's just when in the right light really takes on the visage of a face or a mask. But it's allegedly huge. And it says in the photo in 1976, the station Viking 1 found a huge stone sculpture of an anthropomorphic face, and many saw the pyramids located near the face. These shocking alien figures led to the emergence of a huge number of newspaper articles, fantastic and pseudo-scientific explanations. And in the photo, some people even found similarities with young Elvis Presley. Yeah, that doesn't help. People making statements like that does not help. It's not young Elvis Presley. I'm sure if this even was an ancient alien structure, it would have far predated Elvis Presley. But at any rate, that's the face. And NASA was not going to leave the face of Mars without explanation. And in 2001, the station Mars Global Surveyor took this photo. A fresh image of the face, a newer, sharper image with higher resolution, shows that this is just an ordinary mountain. And I don't doubt. I mean, it's certainly possible that that's something people are trying not to let out. But I don't know. Again, if the light was right on this, it would certainly give this image. At least it appears that it would. And of course, you guys be the judge. I'm not here to convince anyone either way, but just in my opinion, it is rather curious that it really does have the outline of a face. And perhaps it's, quite a bit older than, anything here on Earth. And with the weather on Mars, maybe it was a mask. And it's just been so weathered over time, and that could be, I don't know. But it does look like there was some kind of collapse around here where something caved in. And so maybe there's a chamber under there. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here as I'm talking, but here's another one, number 2, the remains of a humanoid, and they're speaking pretty specifically about this what looks like a bone here. And this one really kind of caught my attention because it really does look like a bone. And it says, Mars Curiosity sent this photo to Earth in 2014, and it shows something that resembles a human's thigh bone. The scientists explained that the unusual shape is most likely the result of erosion of rock formations by wind or water. And one must understand, if NASA found human remains on Mars, scientists would make their detection viral. But would they? I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't. I don't think they would. I don't think they would openly admit it at any rate until they had the ability to put a person there to examine it in person. So could it be erosion? I don't know. That looks like a leg bone to me. That's a pretty specific shape. It does have a curve to it, which is a little unusual for, I don't think they were human necessarily as we understand human to be, but maybe humanoid. And if it is indeed a bone, again, I can't pretend to know. I'm just speculating here, but that's just a theory. This one I thought was pretty amazing. And this is called the spoon. And here's the spoon. It's coming out right here. And you can see it really does look like, I can't believe for a minute that is some form of erosion that would leave something so incredibly long hanging out in, how would it not collapse in the gravity? That one really boggles my mind. Did you ever see the spoon in the center of the image? A long handle stretched over the landscape, casting a shadow below? Is it proof that some giant, cook uses the tool to cook the donuts and wafers mentioned above? Unfortunately, no. On Mars, there is no such strong gravitation as on Earth. Therefore, such fragile rocky formations can exist long without being destroyed under its own gravity. Well, I don't know. I still think if there's enough wind shear to erode that, or if there was enough water to erode all of this other stuff, why would it leave that? What would make that the one feature to remain that has any characteristics like that? If it was just a natural formation, you'd expect to see that all over the place. And again, we have no idea what the scale of this is. This could be giant or it could be tiny. I don't know. If it's tiny, maybe. I guess it could be some weird mineral deposit that just eroded like sandstone with some kind of granite. And the sandstone eroded and left the harder substance there. But I don't know. That is really suspect. I really have a hard time believing that. There's one here that comes out, and it does have an overhang, but it's nowhere near that long. And you can tell that this may have collapsed at some point in the past too, but I don't know. This to me is really suspect. I don't know what you guys think. I'm just looking. If you have anything you want me to see, any comment, just please put at Paranormal Portal and then type your comments, because the orange box around it really grabs my attention. But otherwise I got to read line for line, and that's never good. So I don't know. I tend to think that this one to me really stands out as, wait a minute, that's a long protrusion. But again, I'm no expert. This one, I don't think there's much to it, but it's visual Morse code. This image from NASA orbiter was made in February 2016, and it shows strange formations on the surface of the red planet. Dark areas are a series of dunes that are very similar to the dots and dashes of Morse code. Well, scientists even deciphered them, but got something totally strange. And again, there's a presumption that it is Morse code. And what if it isn't? What if it's some other form of writing? So yeah, our Morse code would make this really bizarre. But what if it is some form of hieroglyph that can be seen from space? Again, why would you assume that it's in a language we would understand? Anyway, alien spaceship. This one really grabbed my attention too. This photo became widely discussed when it appeared on the Reddit site in late June last year. The author claims that the picture was taken by Curiosity rover in March 2017. The post has got thousands of comments. Many people agree with the author that it can be an alien ship, and skeptics also suggest that this is more like garbage left by the Curiosity device itself. I don't know. You guys got to tell me what you think. What do you think? Does that look like garbage to you from the Curiosity itself? Again, I don't know, but it does look like a ship. It really does. I don't know if it's on the ground or if it's above the ground. That's what I can't figure out by this image, but maybe it is really on the ground. And if it is, I don't know. Where's the tracks from the rover then that took off from it, if that's the case? I don't know. Again, just weirdness. This one I thought was pretty interesting too. And here's the big red circle makes it pretty obvious what we're talking about here. And if you look at this, if you really look at it, I can't really blow it up because it's not an image in itself, but I could have made it an image and blow it up. But this is the fish of my dreams. It does look like a fish, folks. I mean, even the tail is, going down here and comes around, and it's real thin here. So it really does look like what a fish would look like. On Mars, there's a fish rock, but there's no fish. Curiosity caught the object in the lens of its camera, and ufologists and supporters of the theory of the existence of the Martians were delighted. But this is just a game of forms of stone and lighting. NASA says about possible fossilized bones and animals on Mars, Mars probably never had enough oxygen in the atmosphere for the conditions of existence of complex organisms. Probably is not determinant, and that would be, I mean, it's possible. I mean, you find rocks that look like a lot of different things too. I suppose if you look long enough, you could find a fish rock, but that is a pretty specific shape, and it does look like it could be a fossil of some kind. But I don't know. The whirlwind, and I don't know what this proves, because if there's movement of air, then dust devils and stuff wouldn't be unlikely. But a strange whirlwind appears on this Martian landscape shot by another NASA Mars rover, Opportunity, in 2016. This is actually a real dusty whirlwind, just like on Earth. Only Martian dust eddies can be up to 50 times wider and up to 10 times higher compared to terrestrial ones. Well, there you go. This has been around for a long time, and this is one that I guess everybody's seen. You can see the clip from the Patterson-Gimlin film in here. I don't think there's Bigfoot on Mars. I don't think that's probably likely. But it says, Mars rover Spirit took this picture in 2007, demonstrating a view of the rock formations. One of them stood out. It looked like a snowman and a female snowman. I don't know about that. It looks like a upright person though. It says a popular UFO blog, UFO Sightings Daily, published an assumption that this female figure is a monument made by aliens. Skeptics consider this an optical illusion and another excellent example of pareidolia, or pareidolia, however you pronounce that. I don't know, folks. I think, again, it's a leap of faith to suggest that this is just a normal rock formation with what looks like an articulated arm here. I mean, it comes off of the figure. I don't know. I just can't believe that that's just happenstance. What is it? I don't know. But again, if you look in the entire range of this picture, there's nothing like it around it. There's nothing like this formation anywhere. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Somebody tell me something. Hey, Brent. Hey, Thor. How you doing? Thor, nice to meet you. I don't think I've met you before, but thanks for coming into our show. Good to see you. Thor, the god of thunder. I don't know. I really, again, believe this is something more. It seems to suggest that, and I don't think it's probably a living thing, but it seems to be a monument of some sort. I don't know. Very weird, though. All right, here's the strange deep hole. NASA did not give a definitive answer about this strange circular hole shot by the orbiter, Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, in 2017, but most likely this is a crater formed due to a meteorite impact. The hole is located in the region of the south pole of the planet. At the end of summer, because of the short daylight, the hole stands out sharply from the surrounding landscape due to the light and shadow. Huh. Well, I mean, it does have it does have what looks like snow down there, or ice. So it would seem to be an opening to a chamber under the ground, some kind of cavernous entrance of some kind. But it is really surprisingly circular. But then again, meteorite impacts, are pretty circular too, I guess. But that's pretty cool. This one is called Metal Construction. And if you look at the way the light hits it, it does seem to have a reflective quality to it, as if it was polished metal or at least had been polished at one point. This says, searchers of the unusual things on Mars edited the image made by Curiosity in earlier 2013 to emphasize an object resembling a piece of metal. A probable explanation is much less impressive than a metal racing ship or an iron monster. The object is probably part of a meteorite or the result of a play of light. And again, it's anybody's guess, but here's the thing: is that I think when you take into account all of these strange things together, that's when it becomes more interesting. I mean, that's when it becomes a collection of things, and there's more. There's more. Let me see if I can find it quick. I'm going to just do a quick search. Let's see. Structures on Mars. All right. So let me look at the images here, see what we find, because there's some in here that I think are really baffling. And again, I haven't looked through the NASA files myself, so I can't say for certain that there is any such things on Mars. And certainly there's a lot of hoaxes out there. But I was specifically looking for the building footings that I was explaining earlier. Let me just see if I can pull it up on screen so you guys can see it too. Here it is. Let's see. I'm going to pull up this so I can see. Yeah, okay. So I'm looking. Now, I don't know. That is peculiar as far as a pyramid-looking rock. But there was a picture that I had seen. Alien structure on Mars. This is a very square. I don't know if it's alien or not, but it's very square. Hopefully we can find something, because if indeed the picture that I did see in the past was from Mars, that would really suggest that there was, something had been there that was made. Like, it seems that nature abhors true geometric shapes unless you go to the microscopic level. It doesn't seem to happen naturally. You don't see square rocks, and you don't see triangular rocks, and you do see circular ones. There's these strange circular rocks that are found in South America, or I think it's South America. But other than that, and I'm trying to see if I can find an image quickly showing the footings. And then once I saw it, I was like, "You've got to be kidding me." Let me try to refine this. Instead of structures, let me just say building footings on Mars, NASA. I don't know. Maybe we won't be able to find it. There isn't really much that it's showing me here. Why is it giving me all this? 2021 lander pyramid, 3D printed. Why would I want 3D printed? Yeah, I don't know. Apparently I can't find it. If I find it, I will definitely bring it up for you guys to see in another show. But again, it's the combination of all of these elements that I think really tends to strengthen the idea that something was on Mars. And I don't think, I'm not necessarily saying that there's still someone there and hanging out and cutting a living out of that dead planet, but I think that in the past there was. Now, there is also a theory, and I don't know where it comes from, but I've heard the theory, and it is that maybe we came from Mars. Like our ancestors were from there and had a great battle or a great war of some kind and destroyed the planet. So we went to the only other habitable planet in our system, which is Earth. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to think about stuff like that, but it's a theory. It's an idea that somebody has. And I can't imagine it's based on any kind of real science, but it's just an idea. Is it possible? Maybe. The one thing I've learned doing the show is that everything is possible. So take it or leave it, folks. But I thought those pictures were really interesting and a lot of fun to look at. And it definitely makes you curious. The Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland are quite unique, but they are volcanic rock. Let's look at that. The Giant's Causeway. Because that's fantastic. Rachel always gets it right. The Giant's Causeway. There it is. Oh, yeah, I've seen this. That's right. Yeah, they're very geometric. That's right. That is true. That's a good point. Point taken. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Giant's Causeway in Ireland. It does look like the very geometric shapes. So maybe I stand corrected. I wish I could find that picture that I had seen before. Now, the interesting thing, though, here is that it's not just one or two. It's the whole rock is geometrically patterned like that. And the difference being on the Mars pictures, the anomalies were kind of all by themselves. It wasn't like there was other similar structure anywhere in the vicinity of the photograph. So that to me would seem to suggest, wait a minute, this isn't how things formed in this area naturally, because otherwise there would be other things that formed naturally like that right alongside it. This is a great example of something that did, and thank you for pointing this out, because this is really, really important to note. But when you look at the surrounding landscape, it's all formed like that. And so that stands to reason then, oh yeah, this is a natural geological formation. But the fact that these don't, like the spoon is all by itself, there are other things that do have similar qualities, but nothing as profound as that span. And of course the big end on it. Again, I don't know the scale of this, but it would seem to suggest that it's very different from everything around it. So I'm not trying to convince anyone. I'm just saying, look, this is some weird stuff. What do you think? Because I like the idea that the portal is a conversation, most of all, and we discuss things. But again, I don't pretend to know everything either. So if there's corrections that you guys know of, please let me know. Because that is the conversation. That is the portal. Did you look in your search history for what? What am I looking for? Oh no, it was quite a while ago that I saw that ghost magnet. It would be like months ago. As much as I search on this computer, it would be thousands of different searches behind I'd have to look at. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I'll keep looking for it. I really will, because I want you guys to see it. But essentially it was like a landscape much like the faces here, the faces on. And then it was like this mostly buried, but you could still make out the outline. It was mostly buried by silt and debris, but it was the outline of a perfectly square outline that, and it seems to have like walls, you know, like it would be raised up like where the walls of this building would have been before they were sheared off or removed or whatever. But it just looks so out of place in the photo, but I'll look around for it. But thanks for asking. No, I don't think I could. But thank you, Rachel. I appreciate it. That's really great. And thank you, Ghost Magnet, for your question as well. I like the participation. All right, so that was the little deviation I wanted to do tonight regarding the show, because it's a Cryptid Corner show, of course, and we've got a lot of cryptid stuff to dig into here. So your job now, those of you in the chat, is to give me a state. Give me a state, and we'll look for some Class A Bigfoot experiences. Try search engine other than Google, more results. Yeah, I use what is it? Ecosia. I use Google. Sometimes I use DuckDuckGo. I use lots of different search. Well, not lots, but a few. Normally I do use Google just because it's opens up quick and I'm usually in a hurry. But yeah, I do appreciate that. So let's see. Well, give me a state. Somebody says upstate New York. I don't know what upstate New York is. Is that like, well, let's pull up New York. Let's do that. Let's go here and let's see. It's on the screen. So which one of these locations, excuse me, hold on. Which one of these locations would be upstate, if you don't mind, Ivan? If you can let me know, because I'm very geographically challenged. So I'm waiting for Ivan. From this list that's on the screen, are any of these upstate New York? Delaware County, Hamilton County, Niagara County. I guess Niagara County would be. Let's look at this from 2002. Warren County. Is Warren County in here? All right, let's see. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Looks like the most recent is here in 2000. Let's look at this one. And this is a Bigfoot report from BigfootEncounters.com. Warren County, New York State, Lake George, Buck Mountain region, Adirondacks. Let me blow this up a little bit. There we go. Around July 9th, 2000, my wife and I were chased out of the woods by what I am sure was a Bigfoot in the Lake George Buck Mountain region of the Adirondacks, New York, in Warren County. The creature observed us from about 100 feet away and broke large branches and made a large roaring/screaming like sound at least 7 times. Maybe more that could come from a very large mammal. I have been in the woods with very large bears and have even taken away food bags from bears, but this was no bear or coy dog. It was much larger. We never did see it, but we could hear it following us out through the trail in the woods, and I have never been so scared in all of my life. It kept getting closer and would stop and roar and then approach us closer. And we were nearly frozen in fear, but managed to collect our things from where we'd been resting and nearly ran out of the woods. My wife is a big skeptic of Bigfoot until this point. The whole time we walked out of the woods, she kept on commenting that it was following us. We could feel it watching us and could hear it through the woods. A few times I saw something moving through the woods parallel with us, but tried not to look as we both picked up large sticks in case it attacked us. There was no one parked at that trailhead when we came out, and I suspect it had followed us out. 2 other hikers that had hiked in earlier ahead of us and just happened to come across us. What? I suspect it had followed Oh, out two other hikers. Oh, okay. So it probably shadowed them in and then chased them out as well. The sounds we heard that day have really bothered me since. I am literally scared to death of going into the woods alone now, even though I have been hiking for over 20 years. I can't explain the terror I felt from hearing this thing. I feel like I have to go back to the area and check it out, but my wife will never go back in those woods after this incident. That's how frightening these sounds were. I was wondering if you know anyone in the upstate New York area that researches Bigfoot that would go up into the trail with me just to look around and see if we can maybe find tracks or some sort of look for signs of the creature. Thanks, JW. Witness identity withheld by request. That's really powerful. And of course, that's a behavior that we hear in reports a lot, that whole shadowing people. And it's, oddly enough, it's really funny. And I don't know whether this is a tactic that was copied from the First Nations, or the First Nations copied it from them. But I know the military teaches this too, to intimidate those things, those targets you're pursuing. And one of which is to walk when they walk and stop when they stop. And it's the only reason I know this is not because I served, but because I worked in corrections with a lot of military people. And one guy was talking about utilizing those techniques when he was going after some people that had escaped. And they talked about how they could hear somebody running behind them, coming after them, but whenever they stopped, the steps stopped too. So I know that that's a tactic that's used, and it's very interesting. You got to wonder who taught who that, or if it's just maybe it's instinctual. I don't know. But what an incredibly haunting experience. And again, the vocal power of these things is so powerful. Now, the interesting thing is the fear that they felt. And granted, if you hear something big and breaking branches and screaming in such power, that's frightening. But I almost wonder if there's some genetic memory in us. Like in our way distant past, when our ancestors were competing with everything to establish our place in this world. Is that like a genetic memory? Like we know when they're around, we just have that feeling of being watched and that feeling of their presence. Or is it something telepathic, or what? Is it something maybe pheromones or sensory or the infrasound or what? I don't know. But it's just amazing how many people talk about, I could feel the weight of them watching me. I could feel it. And I just felt instantly terror for no reason. Just like the woods went silent and I felt afraid. That comes up all the time. So there's something to that, folks. There's something definitely to that. So that's from that side. I saw another person say Virginia. And let's look at Virginia. Where the hell is Virginia? There it is. All right, so where's the most recent one from Virginia? 2003. This site is not necessarily maintained real well. I don't think there's been new sightings recorded here for quite a while. But let's look at the 2003 from Beaufort County. Beaufort County. I'm just assuming here, but this is Beaufort County. Nearest city is Buchanan. September 20th, 2003, occurred around 6 p.m. Closest water would be the James River. Closest road would be I-81. Two friends and myself were hiking in my friend's new 950-acre property, which includes many miles of wooded area. It was getting dark and we had been hiking all day, so we decided to head back to her house. We got turned around somewhere at a fork in the trail, so we decided to backtrack to see where we got lost. And instead of finding our way out, we ended up getting even further into the woods, and darkness was quickly falling. We took out our lights and proceeded to find her house, and we turned a corner that was covered in rocks, and then we smelt this horrible smell. Since we lived in this area, we didn't think anything of it until we heard something following us that was breathing heavily. At this point, we were terrified, so we picked up the pace, and we could tell it was too. So we turned around to finally see what it was, and all we saw was this huge man-like creature dashing off the trail, but we were able to get a good look at it. It had an ape-like face and was covered in dark brown/black hair, and it smelled horrible. Maybe 7 to 8 feet tall, hairy, bulky figure. We watched it a few more minutes until it disappeared into the woods. We didn't know who to tell until we found this website, and we realized other people had seen what they thought was Bigfoot in Virginia. This area was heavily wooded, mountainous area on an unmarked trail. It's rocky and has caves near the James River. And they definitely left their names, Sarah and Rachel Thomas. I think that's very interesting. So the smell is obviously, and I think that's the same reason that the skunk ape got its name, because of course they definitely stink. And what's the other thing I was thinking about? Here's a thing that I think is interesting, because a lot of people would say it's a man in a suit, maybe somebody in a suit or something, just trying to hoax you. And I think Thinker Thunker gave one of the best rebuttals to that. And it was, look, people are citing something that is too big to be a person. They talk about 7 and 8 foot range or more. And he said, when you look at the population of people, and then you look at average heights, and then you look at above average heights, and then you look at way above average heights, the number of potential people goes down geometrically as you go up in height. Like, it goes from millions to thousands to hundreds to, to a handful. And when you get to the 8 foot mark, it's off the map. I mean, after 7 foot, it's nearly off the map. I mean, there's just literally, there's not a lot of people that are 7 feet tall. There's not a lot. So if you're seeing something that big going through the woods, you can be sure that it's not on stilts or some kind of leg extensions, because that it would kill themselves trying to hoax that. The second of all is, and I think he said it like, I don't think Shaquille O'Neal is out in the woods in Virginia, in this case, putting on a ghillie suit kind of thing and trying to fool people. It's just not going to happen. So I think that's a great turnaround or rebuttal to the people that like to say, well, it's a hoax. Someone was just fooling with them and managed to screw them. Now, other people might say, well, they just exaggerated it because they were afraid. And that's possible to some degree. But I think everybody knows when something is their height and when it's bigger than their height. And if it's way bigger than their height, yeah, people might end up exaggerating the height range. But I think 7 feet and up is going to be very, very, just a handful of people, or maybe dozens of people in the entire nation that could fit that mark. And so, I mean, how can you argue with that? And who the hell's going to sit out in a desolate wooded area on private property waiting for someone to come along to scare? They're going to get shot. You're going to get shot in a hurry. So that's a great rebuttal for that. All right, let's look. Give Brent some lovin's. Absolutely, I love lovin's. Thanks, Miss Dill. Was there another state? Anybody else say a state? I'm looking. Happy Memorial Sunday, Paranormal Portal fam. Hope everyone's doing awesome. Stay safe, UFO community. Sincerely yours. Thanks, Renee. I appreciate that. I'm looking for when we talked about states. I don't know how much chat has gone by, but all right. Anybody else? Give me a state. I'm looking. Kansas. I see Kansas. Let's look at Kansas. Carry on my wayward son. It makes me think of Supernatural all the time. Kansas. All right, let's see what's Kansas. Let's go back here. Kentucky, Tennessee. Where the hell's Kansas? Where the hell is Kansas? Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, Pennsylvania. Oh, here it is. It's above Oklahoma. There's no reports on this site for Kansas, so let's go over to the BFRO and see what BFRO has for Kansas. There's 49 of them on BFRO. Let's look and see what they got. Any specific county in Kansas? I see Texas and then Missouri, Texas, Indiana, So Squatch, what county are we looking at here? There's 2 from Bourbon, 1 from Cherokee, 1 from Coffee, 3 from Crawford, Douglas, Geary, Jackson, Jefferson. Did he say? You guys have got to do the @Paranormal Portal thing because I can't see these. The chat's just a big white mess with emoticons. Squatch, Bourbon. Okay, let's check out Bourbon. All right, there's 2 from Bourbon. Let's see what's going on here. There's a Class B and a Class A. Let's check out the Class A because those are the basically the way the BFRO rates them is like Class A is seeing something. Class B can be hearing or becoming aware of the presence. Like you'll hear the roars or you'll hear the sticks or it's close but not necessarily visual. So I always like the visual ones best. And this is from 1996 in the summer, May, and Kansas, Bourbon County. This is in the outer edge of Fort Scott on the Country Club Golf Course. I have researched the area thoroughly and have found no more evidence of the creature and can conclude it's been gone for a while. Really? Fort Scott Horton observed. I observed a form walking in an upright position for a period of about 5 to 6 seconds. The figure was darkish brown in color and it appeared to be very large in size. I had just walked out to bring my dog in and it had started to sprinkle, and as I took her off her leash, I looked up across the golf course and saw a form move out on the edge of the trees and run across a space of about 20 yards until it disappeared into the tree line. When I saw it, the Patterson-Gimlin footage came to mind, and I was left to believe that I saw Bigfoot. The figure was about 200 or more yards from me, and it was very hard to make out what it was. I have never seen this creature again, and that is probably due to a new golf course was built a year or so later, and there was and still is a lot of construction going on there. I never thought to look for tracks until the next week, and we had some rain, and if there were tracks, they were washed away. No other witnesses. It was during the day at around noon, so it was dark and cloudy and starting to sprinkle. I was on the edge of a golf course near a forest, about the size of a half square mile. I often think that they can be maybe perhaps nomadic. Like they may cut through urban areas more than they're actually in them, because I don't think people really notice much. And it's much less now than even in 1996 because everyone's like this, so it's hard to see a lot when your face is plastered to a little screen. But there again, they may have huge ranges. It may come in and out of those places all the time, possibly looking for domesticated pets, which are easy targets for something like this. And they have been shown to, in many cases, people have seen them attacking dogs and carrying them away and stuff. So, and I'm sure cats as well, but yeah, I don't know. And maybe it doesn't live there necessarily, but maybe hunts there. Maybe it's part of its range, or it's just on its way somewhere. So I think that's very interesting. So we had Indiana, Maryland. Sugar Brits is once Maryland. Okay, let me look at the time here. We're getting there. I know we've done Indiana in the past, so let's continue here. Let's go back to the BFRO main page. Let's see what comes up for Maryland here. The map is handy, but it really requires some geographical knowledge. Massachusetts. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. Oh, here we go. I found Maryland. Cool. All right, so this is Williamport's 1970, 1999, and 1977. Let's go for the newest one. Harford County. Let's see what's going on here, and then we'll look at the BFRO too, because I think the BFRO has a lot more reports. But I do like that this site, this Bigfoot encounter site, tends to, I don't know, they just seem to be really more in depth in their claims. I don't know if that's because the BFRO edits or not. Maybe it's just luck of the draw. This was reported by Jenny Harrett, RN. I was out hiking one morning in early July and found a large footprint in the muddy riverside. The footprint was about 18 inches long and had 4 toes. The width was at least 6 inches and probably more. My normally friendly golden retriever became very anxious and aggressive. He would growl and cling to my leg and have his tail tucked down. I called investigator Dave Bittner, who found additional evidence. There was the leg of a killed deer, which was placed directly on our path about a week later. I went hiking again and found another footprint evidence of a Bigfoot that I photographed. While I photographed the print, I heard the eerie scream that reminded me of howler monkeys I have heard in Belize, Central America. Thanks, Jen Silver. Wow. It says Jen Silver, but up here it says Jen Harrett. Okay. And the investigator wrote, I think some clarification is in order for this report. When I visited Gunpowder Falls State Park with Jenny, the original footprint she had found was no longer there, having been washed away by the river. I never got to view the original footprints. We hiked around the park using trails, and coming down one hill, found some deer leg bones on the edge of the trail. Yeah, that does. That makes it a lot more information. I have the photo of them. Saying that they were placed there, stretching things a bit, implies that someone left them there for us to find. I seriously doubt this was the case. We found some deer bones, nothing more. With no Bigfoot-related signs nearby, unfortunately, Jenny photos didn't come out. They were out of focus. While I'm open-minded to the possibility that there may indeed be Bigfoot roaming through the Gunpowder area, I've personally yet to see any compelling evidence. Jenny is sincere, however, and I'm hopeful that her continued investigations in the area will unearth some hard evidence. You got to give her credit, because she's obviously plenty brave to keep going out there. If there's an 18-inch footprints being left, that's a pretty big animal, or a pretty big being, I should say, being, not animal. But that's pretty cool. All right, let's see what the BFRO has for Maryland. Maryland, 34 reports, quite a bit more. Again, we're down to counties, so if you can please look at this list. There's 10 from Anne Arundel County. There's 1 from Allegheny. Baltimore County, 3. And 6 from Hartford. 3 from Montgomery. So give me a county if you would, please. Or I'll just take a stab. I'll give you a couple seconds here to answer. I know there's a lag. I'm looking. Okay, well, I'll just pick one then. I'm going to go for the big one, Anne Arundel County in Maryland, and see what comes up. All right, so this is a Class A, 2008 Class B, 2001 Class A. So it looks like, let's go for 2001 Class A. It's a BFRO researcher has sighting in Severn Run State Park. Okay. And Severn Run State Park, 7th of October, 01. Nearest town is Odenton. Observed on October 7th, 2001 at approximately 6:30 p.m. twilight in the Severn Run State Park. While researching a previous sighting of an animal in this area, I spotted another animal which had frozen in position to avoid detection. It must have heard my car door shut. At a distance of approximately 150 yards off the roadway. The temperature had dropped dramatically, causing a fog to rise over a stream between myself and the animal, partly obscuring my view. I had parked alongside the road and was standing behind my car, looking into the woods, when I spotted the animal standing in the undergrowth. Is approximately 5 feet tall, and the animal was approximately 3 feet above that, slightly bent over. Oof. So he calls it an animal. Okay. Severn Run State Park is a state-stocked trout stream, which runs from Overton area to the Severn River near Annapolis, the state capital and home of the U.S. Naval Academy. The woods here at this location are mature trees with lots of undergrowth, no middle growth trees, so visibility is good through the growth. Lots of greenbrier and small trees approximately 5 feet tall. The animal was traveling towards Odenton and was facing towards the right. Its head was lowered slightly, looking in my direction, and was turned in such a way that I could only see one arm. the back, and its face. The animal was a light tan in color, approximately 8 to 9 feet tall. My God. It had large eyebrow ridges, which cast a shadow over its eyes. Didn't see the eyes. A large jaw, a roundish face, massive shoulder muscles, and huge biceps. The animal had long head hair, which extended down to about the bottom of its shoulder blades. No hair hung over its face. The hair on the body of the animal appeared to be short and tight to the body, not shaggy or matted. Coloration was constant all over the body and head. I yelled, "Hey," and clapped my hands and whistled, and the animal didn't move. After approximately 15 minutes, I left the area. It was too dark for any photos to turn out from my cheap camera. The exact location is currently under observation by the BFRO and will be revealed at a later time. Thank you for your understanding. Also noticed during later research in the area, I found a few interesting things. Deep old trails going up the raised railroad bed, abandoned, and many smaller trails in the area. A farmer raises game roosters in the area. Food source, ? Only himself saw it. And he said this area is historically active. I recall a friend in high school who used to live near the park say that Bigfoot uses the stream as a corridor. They walk through there all the time. I was researching a report from a couple of weeks prior. An animal was seen crossing the road at this location. The animal was black in color. Okay, well, there you have it. So that's a few of them, and we can always do this in the future, folks. So if you didn't get your state called, don't lose hope. We can continue to do it, but we've kind of run out of showtime tonight, and I want to get to the trail cam terrors, of course, because that's always fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I like going through the actual reports because, I mean, people thought enough of their experience to report it, and I think that in and of itself is, at least lends it some credibility. It could also just be a bunch of yucks, here and there that are just trying to get a chuckle. But on this other site, this older site, the BigfootEncounters.com, I have seen some of those fake reports where people are just being dumb. Like one guy was talking about giving it a bowl of cereal and it liked Lucky Charms or something like that. It was just really dumb, but it was humorous. Obviously it was parody. And he wasn't actually trying to sell it as a real thing. But at any rate, that's the story as it is. So let me get ready for our night terrors, or for the trail cam terrors, as it were. Let me just put this over because it's going to be a video, folks. So I hope you're ready for this. All right. So are you ready? Here we go. Going to the night terrors, or the trail cam terrors. All right, folks, this is the trail cam terror segment of our show tonight. And on this segment, we're going to check out a Ring doorbell video. And if you do Google searches for ring bell door videos and paranormal stuff, you'll find some surprising videos. But this is one that I haven't watched yet, but it's something I wanted to watch with you guys because I'll be honest, I like to become exposed to this stuff at the same time you are, because I think that makes it more of a group experience at that point. But this is a Ring doorbell camera, and the title is "Watch: Mysterious Flying Object Caught on Ring Doorbell Camera in Lynn Haven." And this is from a news channel, local news. And I don't know what the hell the name of this channel is, but it's mypanhandle.com news. Local news, watch a mysterious flying object caught on Ring doorbell camera in Lynn Haven. Let's see. Florida, I guess. Florida. Okay. So it's from the Florida Panhandle, and that makes sense when you look at the image here. And you can kind of get a little sneak peek at what's coming up here, but let's read the article first. It says, Lynn Haven resident Chris Miller sent a video where a mysterious flying object is caught on his Ring doorbell camera. Let me just pull this up, make sure it's looking good. Okay. And it says, Miller said his wife was at the gym when she told him to check the doorbell's camera because there was something on it. He said it sounded like a jet engine, but it was shocked to see the size of the object. And Miller says he has no idea what it could be, and even asked friends their opinions who said they didn't know either. So tell us, what do you think it is? So let's check out the video and see what you guys think it is. Let's do this. Wow. Let's check that out again. Now, those of you watching this, you might be seeing it looks like it's like a vapor trail or whatever, but a lot of times these kind of cameras don't have a real fast frame rate. Like they may only be, 8 or 10 frames per second. When you watch a movie, it's 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. So it's quite a bit faster to get that fluid rate. So what you're seeing is most likely just after images of the object as it moves through the frames. So, but again, we'll watch it one more time. So I think that's very interesting though, because the thing that I find really compelling is it seems to come from behind this house over here, and then it shoots over in just a heartbeat, and it's over here and shoots over from the light. Let's check it out again. Let me do it again. Hold on. I'm trying to get to the point where it comes right out of that house. Okay, there it is. And you can see just the streak here as it's coming up. Let's go back a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. Doesn't seem to be working. I don't know. The YouTube controls aren't really working. But so it actually seems to kind of loop here, go around this, and then go over the wires, and then disappear like that away. One more time. I just want to see it one more time. Sorry. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I don't think it's a bug. I don't think it's like a little dust bunny or something that might be on a spider web hanging in front of the camera. I think it's either faked or really did capture some anomaly shooting around and doing strange aerobatics, I guess, and looks pretty good. So I don't know what you think, but I'm pretty impressed. I think that there's possibly something there. At the end, does it not go down on the left side? Well, it looks like it kind of goes over the power lines here and then loops down here and goes off like this. And let me just back it up a little bit here. So there it is there going. I'm just trying to manually click ahead, and you can see it going down, and it kind of shoots over past the light. There it is right there. And then it kind of goes this way. So what happens after this, we don't know. But that's really pretty impressive. So there you have it, folks. That is tonight's Trail Cam Terrors. All right, folks. That has been our journey tonight. Hope you guys have liked it. Hope you... It's a bear. What the hell? It's not a bear. It's not a bear. It definitely is not a bear because bears don't fly. Just going to put it out there just to debunk that. It's not a bear. And it's not a Bigfoot either. So... what it is, we don't know. It's an anomaly. That's why we call it anomalies. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude our journey here tonight. I hope you've had a good time. I appreciate you being with me and going for the ride on the Paranormal Portal. And let's look. I just want to look and see 66 of you are here. That's wonderful. Thank you guys all for coming and checking out the show. I hope that you will continue to be a part of our community. If you're brand new, I hope you'll subscribe and ring the bell so that you get notified when we go live. But if you want the schedule, we go live Wednesday through Sunday nights. I take Monday and Tuesday off, but Sunday night, tonight, I'll be releasing this next week's podcast, which is listener emails. So if you've written an email to the show regarding your own story, I'm going to be reading them, several of them tonight on tonight's podcast. They'll be released later. So I'll get it up as soon as I can, but just know I really appreciate you guys being here. Good show. Really like the show tonight. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate that. Thank you for all your participation too. I really appreciate that, because I can only talk so much. And if you guys have other ideas or information, your involvement is always encouraged. And I'm trying to do really well in seeing when you guys say something. So, but that's all I got for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night. Have a wonderful Memorial Day. Celebrate it with those you love. And again, a reverent nod or salute or whatever to those who gave all. All right, guys. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. That's going to do it for me. I'm going to roll the credits.